Hey guys, welcome to the Color Me Mike podcast. So just a quick disclaimer up here at the top. Anything said during this podcast only reflects on me and or the guest. Sonity has nothing to do at all with anything that's being said here. Sonity is just a cool boba milk tea shop in Fremont, California that is kind enough to let us record the podcast here at their shop and kind enough to hook us up with some boba milk tea drinks. So everybody just chill and enjoy the episode.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of, like last minute notice.
Yeah.
It's like, I was even thinking like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't do it. But I was like, no, fuck it. You should do it.
That's good, man. I thought
Yeah.
the same thing. And I was like, you know what? I should do it, man. I want to do this podcast.
Well, there,
I was like, let's go.
there you go. I'm glad you turned around on that, man. It's like-
Yeah.
no, because I know you're a busy guy. You're getting booked all over the place.
Yeah.
So I knew like, fuck, I'm only I contacted you on Monday.
Yeah.
Yes, I knew it's kind of late notice because you could easily be having shows and other stuff.
Yeah. There's always like last minute bookings and shit too.
Yeah,
It's always,
yeah, exactly. So I was even thinking like, should I even ask him? But it's like, fuck it. If he says no, he says no. It's kind of like you're acting a girl out.
No, I know.
It's like, what if they say no?
You're worried about the reaction.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That's how it is, man. Shit. That's why like I was so bad at always hitting up bookers because I'm like scared of rejection.
Yeah.
But I had to learn how to flip that.
Let me ask you about that. I mean, do people look down upon that if you're the one contacting?
No, dude. I used to think it. I think a lot of people, it's like a inner pride thing where like you don't want to hit up people. You're like, I want people to hit me up. But that's like kind of like psychotic to think like that. Like you really, like whenever you talk to like people who are getting booked a lot, they'll tell you like, oh, you need to hit bookers up. You need to hit up, go hang out maybe. But like one thing that's hard is hitting bookers up too much. That's what you don't want to do.
That's a fine
like
line,
weekly, because then you'll annoy them.
Exactly.
You got to know who you got to know who you're contacting, because each person's different. Some people are like, hey, hit me up all the time and I'll try to put you on. And some people are like, don't hit me up like that because that's going to annoy me and it's not going to get you.
So it sounds like it's just trial and error there. No one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I guess you can ask. Like I can ask someone like you. Hey, how often do you? Oh, there's your drink over there. Dude.
Oh, I'm gonna grab my drink.
Oh, that was quick. That's a service here at Sana Latte, Sana Tea and Desserts. Thank you. Nice and fast.
Wow.
Oh, this
cool. It's Sana Tea. That's the place.
Yeah, Sana Tea and Desserts. Yeah, this is this. So they invited us to cover their grand opening and just kind of struck a relationship up with the owner. And I asked him if it would be cool if I did this podcast here. And luckily enough, he said yes. So,
yeah, man, it's a dope spot.
Yeah,
dude, I'm so dumb. I thought it was like Sanity. I thought it was called Sanity.
I can see that. That would make sense, right? But it's pronounced Sanity.
Okay.
I kind of like Sanity.
Yeah, it's like those more, play on words. Yeah, a lot of like boba spots I know they do like play on words with their stuff. And
so you contact bookers then?
Yeah, that's how I that's recent, really recent, man. Like I would never do it, and I wasn't getting booked, and like
Is that what got you to change?
I had to change, and a lot of comedians who I like hang out with or I consider like my friends, like we were all kind of the same way. And then at one point we're like, you know what, dude, screw it, we gotta start like hitting people up.
It's made a difference.
Yeah,
because I definitely feel like I see your face on flyers for shows a lot more in the past 3 months.
Yeah, it's been really good, and Kelly Evans, like he really hooked me up because he saw me do so well at that competition.
Dude, you killed it, man. Yeah, you killed it.
Thank you. And then he booked me, and then people see that, and then like they hit him up, like, "Hey, how did he do?" And it's just like a chain reaction.
So what do you say? Because it's just something I really need to work on too. I just feel like I don't want to bother people. What do you say to these bookers when you contact them?
So I got a lot of the shout out to Ian Levy, I used to think he hated me, but he's a really good guy, and he helped me out with he was like, you know what, you got to hit these bookers up or go hit them up at least once a month or once every 2 weeks. So try to keep it into a minimum, but don't try to don't annoy them. So I would hit him up and send a clip and I would send like a huge paragraph. And then I talked to David Samuel recently, and he was like, dude, you got to keep it very simple because he's a producer, and he's like, a lot of us don't want to see this shit. And it's like, keep it short, keep it sweet, give them the date, give them the month you're available. And that usually helps out.
That's good to know. I'm sure there's a lot of comics here listening to this. Like they probably never heard that advice before.
I've never heard that till recently. But also like each producer is different. Some people were like, hey, I want a clip, or, and it also helps knowing the producer and performing in front of them.
Yeah.
Like I got up on Punchline recently for like the first time in like 3 years.
Oh, that's awesome,
Yeah,
dude.
and like that's always like okay, there's producers here, so you got to do.
And it wasn't that Sunday, like, where you just sit there and wait and maybe.
Yeah,
they'll
it
call
was
your
a
name.
Sunday
Oh,
one,
okay.
and it was crazy because I was like depressed. I don't know what I was like sick. I just came up from a cold. It wasn't COVID, but I was like sick from allergies, and I was like depressed. And they picked me and they're like, "You're going first," and I was like, "Shit, I got to snap out of
Damn.
it." Like, because I always think of that too. Like when I'm thinking of like professional comedians, like they can't have any days off. Like just because they're feeling off doesn't mean like I'm gonna cancel my whole show because I'm feeling a little sad today. Like we got to do what we're gonna do regardless.
So how did your set go?
It went well. It
That's
went
awesome.
it didn't crush how I wanted it to crush, but a lot of people were like, "Hey, it was like a cold room that night, and you went
Yeah,
first,
you went
and
first.
you did what you were supposed to do." And I don't like blaming like the crowd at all. Like I'm always like trying to like, "Oh, I messed up, or I could have done better." But
Dude, you know what? Because I saw you recently at Brick and Mortar, right? You did Wally's show, and there was hardly anyone there. I mean, that's just the truth of it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
hard to
there
get
was-
people like
there
on a
was hardly
Tuesday
people there.
show. It's
Yeah.
hard to get people to
oh
come
yeah, it's
out,
hard.
man.
Yeah,
Because I mentioned it at the competition. Like, I can only invite friends to like so many shows. Is they don't
Yeah.
want to be
Oh,
seeing
yeah,
stand-up
no.
comedy every week.
Yeah.
It's like So I don't hold it against them. But even in that small ass, like turnout, you still did really well.
Thank you, man. I was scared too because there's not a lot. Whenever there's not a lot of people, like
It's harder.
it's hard. And
Yeah.
like I've been learning, like a lot of it's within you. Like you might see a little bit of people and you might not give it your 100%, but you gotta do something because it's like they paid for to be on
Have
the
you
show. and I
figured
gotta-
out like any sort of like, I guess you could say like tricks or an approach when there's hardly anyone there, but you're still able to get them to engage? Because people were laughing out loud, right? Because a different thing when I was talking with Xavier about this, or was it Dorian, when there's not a lot of people, like they might be finding your shit funny,
Yeah.
but in terms of them laughing out loud, it's
Oh,
not
no.
going to happen.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, no.
But you were able to get that to happen at Brick and Mortar.
Yeah. Though, like I'm only like been doing this for like 3 years, but
Dude,
what
that's
I'm
still 2 years more than I've been doing
no,
it.
but what I've like starting to notice is like when it's a smaller crowd, I feel like it's better to do crowd work.
Yeah.
Like, cause like I was just like kind of riffing, and they were reacting to that a lot better than when I said my actual joke, and they could feel that. And when it's like that small and intimate, I feel like it's important to get intimate with the crowd. Like, okay, you know what? I can see every single one of your faces.
Yeah.
So let's start talking about each other. But yeah, you were saying like sometimes you'll get a crowd and it could be a good show, but if people don't like audibly laugh, it's a bad, you know what I mean? Like
It doesn't feel as good for sure.
no, like
yeah.
me myself when I laugh, I don't make noise when I laugh. Like I'm like like I do like a weird thing. So I was like, if there's a crowd full of me in the audience, that's gonna suck. Like nobody's gonna laugh at. It's gonna sound like you're bombing,
but yet they're enjoying
but
the show.
they're enjoying it, you know.
Yeah.
And like we got to respect that too. Some people aren't comfortable laughing out loud because they don't want to be.
Yeah, they don't want the
pointed
attention
at.
on them, right?
Yeah. Who was I? I was talking to somebody. They were at my show, and they're like, "I don't know how you do it because I was sitting front row and I was so nervous just sitting front row." And like you're on the so some people aren't even used to sitting front row and they don't want to get too vulnerable.
You,
so.
do you still get nervous before your sets?
Man, dude, it's fucking like yesterday I was super nervous, but it was just because like the show that I was on and like I really wanted to do well.
Where were you at yesterday?
The best of SF. It was like a
Okay.
last minute booking, and
Where did they do that at?
the Variety Theater, I think that's what it's
Okay.
called in San Francisco. It's a super great show, man. You got to follow on it on Instagram, and they post their stuff on Facebook. But it's like a little theater room, super nice.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. And like whenever that's when I get nervous. It just for me it depends on who's in the room. Like if it's like a producer that I'm like, I want to get booked for their shows, I'll be nervous. If it's like I was nervous for Wally's show because you guys are all my friends, and I'm like, man, I don't want to let Wally down. Like,
Mhm.
and it's just like dumb shit like that. But it's like if it's a big audience, I don't really get to.
Do you still fuck with mics, or are you at that point where you're doing enough shows where that's where you can work out your material a little bit now?
I had to humble myself, man. I thought I was past mics, but I don't think anybody's past mics. Like there's some comedians. Things going on.
That's the first time I've ever heard that.
They just
Seriously,
added
yeah,
that right
yeah.
now.
Yeah, after like 16 episodes,
some-
I've never heard that
I'm about to
before.
be in the Squid Games right now with that shit.
I know, right?
Um,
But you're saying?
but I think everyone should do mics, man, because like some of the best comedians, like Ryan Goodcase, Daoud,
Yeah, Ian Levy still do
they
it.
still go to
Yeah,
mics,
yeah.
bro. They go to the same mics that we go to, where it's like the fucking dive bar and it's dead and shit, they'll go to that and they'll practice it out. And I thought like, I was like, oh, I could just test my stuff at shows. Nope. Like I'll say a brand new joke, not a laugh. And I'm like, yeah, no, you got to let this out at an open mic, you know, to kind of just get it out, get the muscles going and doing that. Yeah.
There you go. We got a third guest on the podcast. How are you enjoying your drink, by the way?
This is really good, man.
Yeah. That's a
I was worried about it. I was like, it might be too much dairy, but this is delicious. This is some good
do you try
shit.
to avoid dairy?
I try to.
Are you lactose intolerant, or you just don't like the bloating?
That bloated, it's not lactose. Some people get it really bad, but me, it's just bloated.
Yeah, because it does cause inflammation with some people.
And then, like, my girlfriend, she introduced me to probiotics. So I've been taking that now.
Yeah, that's good, man. It's great for your gut biome.
Yeah, so I take that before, like, if I'm going to fuck my stomach up, I'll do that.
So that's good. You're a bit on a health kick, man.
I try to be.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, that's kind of rare in the comedy world, you know?
I know, man. That's the hard part, dude. Like, the other day I was at a show and the only thing that was available was a fucking Taco Bell. And I had to Google like healthiest option at Taco Bell and just work with what I got. And it's fucking ridiculous. So
and Taco Bell's not like, well, you know what? I mean, I used to fuck with Taco Bell. We all did as kids, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That with that Mexican pizza.
The Mexican pizza and shit. Yeah.
They brought it back, right?
They brought it back. I never had it. Because I used to get
Are you serious?
No, man.
It's
I
delicious.
get the.
So I mean, I thought it was delicious when I was a kid. I don't know about now.
Have you tried it recently?
I haven't. I did try Taco Bell recently because my buddy and I feel like I'm at a Chinese airport or something right now. My buddy and I, we have this web series where we go around different cities and review taquerias.
Oh, shit. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So it's called Taco Tours. And ever since then, like my standards for like tacos and Mexican food is up way up here now.
Yeah.
So we did an episode where we just did a bunch of like fast food joints. We did Taco Bell, and it just tasted like garbage.
Oh
man.
yeah, man. No,
it tastes like eating paper. You know, it's like,
dude, I had one friend and he was like, we were talking about Taco Bell, and he was like, man, if I want Mexican food, I'll go to like a taqueria. And I'm like, bro, you can't even put that in the same thing though. Like,
it's a
not
different
Mexican
category.
Food. Like, it's like, I want taco. It's its own. It stands on its own. That's what I'm gonna get.
But you know what's like pretty good? Like I can't believe it's even considered fast food. Is Super Taqueria.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
bro.
it's the first time I had it is when we reviewed it. I mean, growing up in Eastside San Jose, I saw it all the time. It was like, oh, what's that Superman? You know, store, right?
The little star thing. Yeah.
But I couldn't believe how good their shit was.
Man.
Like, it holds up to like legit taquerias.
Bro, yeah. Because I work in San Jose now. I'm from South San Francisco.
Okay. And you work all the way in San Jose?
San Jose.
Damn.
It's a motherfucker. I was listening to your podcast on the way here because I just want to, check it out. I have so much time with fucking commuting.
Which episode do you listen to?
I listened to Justin's and then Jamar's.
You know Justin?
I know Justin. Yeah.
Justin's, he's a trip. He's a cool character, but he's a trip.
Yeah. Very like, he looks unapproachable, but he's like the sweet dude, man.
He's a super
great
sweet
soul.
Dude. Yeah, I've done like 2 shows with him, and that's why I wanted to have him on. I really enjoy talking. He's a different personality. He's a different take.
Oh yeah.
That's why I wanted to have him on.
Oh yeah, I love his comedy. He's great.
Oh yeah, he's got all this material on swords.
And the sword
he
stuff.
said I haven't even seen all of it yet. I was like,
he's hilarious. He's a funny dude.
He's such a catered act. Like his whole look, his whole act is catered. For that. It's like, he's perfect for selling merch. Because he's like a walking, talking
he's
product.
Perfect for fucking killing vampires and shit, dude. That's what he looks like. But I love Justin, man. I tell him this shit all the time. But yeah, man, fucking San Jose. I went to San Jose and I was always looking for the best taqueria. And I was like, it took me a while. I would ask my coworkers, they're all from San Jose. And one time he was like, yo, you gotta try Super Taqueria. He's like, it looks like a franchise, but once you go inside, and I was like, oh, it's the best shit, bro. It's so fresh and like.
Yeah, and then they serve it so fast too. That's the crazy thing. And then you got all the different meats, Like, they serve cabeza, lengua. Like, you won't find that like in franchise places.
No, yeah.
And I love that. So that stuff's just so like juicy and succulent and moist and just falls apart in your mouth. Like, we've been to over 100 different like taco joints, so far. And there's a difference. I mean, people always ask like, oh, how different can tacos be? It's like say like,
no, man. I'm still looking for the best tacos.
Yeah.
Have you been to Arajos?
No, I haven't.
That's over there in San Jose too. Over there on Story.
The thing is, like in San Jose, there's so many of them.
Yeah,
right?
San Jose's fucking huge too, bro. You'll drive like we got a 30-minute drive from one taco spot to another one in San Jose.
People don't realize how big San Jose is.
Man, no. It's crazy.
No, but because we only review 3 taco spots per each episode. We've already done 3 episodes in San Jose.
Oh, that's cool.
And we've been, that's the tip of the iceberg for
Yeah.
taquerias in San
Yeah.
Jose, right? I mean, you
Yeah.
know how many fucking Hispanics and Mexicans there are in San Jose.
Hell yeah, man. We
I
take
think
it serious, but
yeah, it's like Hispanics, Mexicans, and Vietnamese is like the
oh
main.
yeah, they got the whole
population.
Vietnamese town and everything over there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know what's funny? We did this thing over there in that like the whole Vietnamese town, right?
Yeah.
Where we kind of did this roulette where we'll go to a place, we'll put like there's 20 items, we'll just pop it in like this roulette thing. Okay, we'll try
And
whatever
just
it
order
lands
it?
on.
Yeah.
It was a trip, man. We ordered this drink, like we don't know what was it in. It was like, oh, okay, I guess we're gonna
Like,
try.
here we go. That's good, man.
Yeah, it's a good experience. Try new
Yeah.
things, you know?
Yeah. I tried that one time at a Vietnamese spot, and like I looked like a dumbass because when I got there, it was just me by myself. It was like I was on lunchtime,
Uh-huh.
and I was looking around, and everybody was ordering it, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?" And I was like, "It looked good." And I asked the person, I was like, "Can I order it?" And it was like a whole like it was like almost like a spring roll. You were making your own wraps, but dude, it was a spread on the table. I looked like a king. I was just sitting there like a dumbass, but I didn't know how to put it together.
Yeah.
You had to like dip
So
the.
they didn't help you out.
They didn't help me out. Like you had to dip the wrap in the water first to loosen it up, and then you got to roll up your ingredients.
So how did you end up figuring it out?
Dude, I was just like, I hated doing it, but I was just like looking at people, seeing what they were doing, and then I had to.
Yeah, because customer service is generally not the Asian strong suit. Yeah,
Nah, for sure, man.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I'm not delivering any breaking news
Mm.
here. Yeah, it's not a strong suit of Asian cultures.
It's cool, man, because there's a Chinese restaurant by my house. I grew up in South San Francisco, and there's a spot called Sky Dragon, and it was like the best Chinese food.
Yeah.
But all the servers there were known for like, dude, they'd be fucking mugging you and like talking shit, and I'm like, God damn, like the most hateful fucking workers. But they made good food, so we kept going back. Like,
Yeah,
we would see like Yelp reviews of like some nasty shit going on, and I was like, dude,
Man, food's so
ignorance is
good.
bliss. Like they're not focused on the health; they're focused on the
Yeah.
But I love Sky Dragon. That's my favorite spot.
So we were just talking before we started this. You're moving to New York?
No, man, I don't know why
What?
Xavier said that. Yeah, no, I'm not moving to New York.
Where the hell did that come from then?
I don't know, because I don't know, man. They probably see that I'm doing a bunch of shows and like, all right, well, Sergio's.
Because I know Ryan Goodcase is moving
Ryan.
to New York.
A lot of people left, man. A lot of people left this year.
Who else left?
I believe Ian might have left. Ian Levy,
Did he?
or I don't know. I don't know if I got to confirm. But
I
like
always like Ian Levy. He's
really
a
good,
good guy.
man. Good,
He's funny.
fucking hilarious. I think like Orion left too, but to LA, and everyone's leaving.
Ian might have done the best 10-minute set I've seen like amongst like the local
Oh yeah,
comics.
oh hell yeah, bro. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
believe
was-
it.
It was at Jason Cole's venue there, the Sound Room.
The Sound Room?
Their
Oh, yeah,
showcases
yeah.
on Fridays. Yeah, I mean the 10 minutes he did, it was just like fucking like nonstop killing for the whole 10 minutes.
He's a killer, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. It was inspiring,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like, God damn, I want to like get to that level, where just nonstop killing for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Speaking of Jason Cole, though, I gotta ask you, like winning that competition, did that make a huge like bump in terms of you getting booked?
Not like it did, but it's because Kelly Evans was there. Like, Kelly saw me and Kelly started booking me on his shows, and Kelly throws really good shows. And then other producers are, friends with Kelly, and they'll ask him like, hey, how does he do? And he's seen me crush, thank God he hasn't seen me bomb, because I bomb sometimes. I bomb a lot, but
Yeah, you fucking crushed
Yeah,
that
man.
night, dude.
It-
Oh my God.
that was good. And I'm like, put it under my belt. But like a lot of, like when it comes to competitions, it's kind of like a weird, like you get mixed reviews from everybody, because some people are like, man, forget F competitions. They don't mean anything. They're bringer shows. And like, I brought friends, but it was like, I feel like,
I don't know, you can finish your point.
like the thing, like, because people were giving me shit because I brought like 10 friends. Because I've done competitions before where I'm like, I should have won that shit. And then somebody who brought like 13, 15 friends, they win because they get all those votes. And I'm like, I'm sick of that, like losing like that. And I was like, fuck it. I'm going to, play fire with fire or whatever the fuck they say. And I was like, I'm bringing my friends. I tell my friends, I'm like, look, man, if I'm not funny, don't laugh and don't vote for me. And I trust their.
Yeah, but even then, so you brought 8 friends. There was like fucking 45 people in the room. You're
Oh,
not
yeah.
going to win with 8
Yeah.
votes.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like, to me, it helps in that, laughter is contagious. But if you bring your kind of friends, they're not going to laugh if it's not funny.
Yeah,
Then,
that's how it is. And I'm like, shit, man. But I think like I did really well, and
Dude,
Jason's like, dude, he's like, dude, the energy of the room was like crazy when you were there. So
dude,
it was fun.
no, I learned a lot from that competition. Specifically, I'm gonna suck your dick a little bit here. I'm hoping it's gonna know, but
like how you whispered that.
yeah, I'm gonna suck your dick.
Yeah, dude, we're in a public place right now, man. Yeah,
Okay, nice. I know I became like an NPR voice all of a sudden.
yeah.
No, but like seeing you do your set and kill that way, it made me realize, there's a way that you can talk about fucked up shit still,
Yeah.
but make it more like accessible to a general audience.
Yeah.
Because I was telling Xavier, I went into that competition thinking I had a decent chance because I'd been working that 5-minute set for a whole week, and then it had been crushing everywhere.
Yeah.
And then it just so happens that night, there's a lot of young females in that audience that just wouldn't fuck with what I was talking about.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit. And I knew within the first minute, it's not going to be my night.
Yeah.
They're just not going to vibe with this. And I was like, it was too late for me to jump ship. At this point, I've been working this whole set the whole week. Yeah. It's like, I got to stick with it. And then I saw you go up and you were talking about some, some racy shit too, some crazy shit. But everyone was vibing with it.
Yeah.
And it's like, it taught me that lesson. Like, oh, there's a way to do it. But to write it in a way and deliver it in a way that's more accessible. And that really kind of like opened a door in my mind. Like, okay, I have to take that to that next level then when I write this stuff, man. And that was because of you, dude.
Thank you, man. Yeah, appreciate that.
No, because you crushed it. I couldn't believe how well you did. And it's not as if you were being clean up there.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
some nasty shit.
Yes, but everyone was feeling it. So it's like, what did Sergio do that I wasn't able to do, that he was able to get everyone to ride along with it?
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing up there sometimes. But no,
But does that make sense? What I'm saying about like writing it in a way that's
it's kind of like a thing. Like I'm learning this like recently, where it's like you got to have them like love you, like be on your side right away.
Yeah.
Like because I've said like that same set separate, like different ways. And if I say like my crazy racy shit, or not racy, but it's like my risky shit first, I could lose an audience right away. So it's like for me, like my style is kind of just like being dumb on stage. And like once they figure out like, oh, this dude's joking about this shit and he's like a dumbass, and like, okay, we're gonna love whatever he's saying. And also, man, it's just the confidence thing too. Like that's the hardest part, right? Because I don't know how you were feeling, but like, once you saw those people and you're like, oh fuck, like what am I gonna do? Like that's already fucking what you're saying. And like I think that night, like my friends were there and I was in my head, I was like, oh, I'm gonna fucking kill this shit. Like this is a nice room. I have my friends here, they're gonna fucking, laugh. And I was like, I just went up there with hella confidence and hella cocky. I don't like being cocky, but in this what we do.
It didn't come off as cocky, though.
Yeah,
I'll tell you,
no.
it did not come off that way.
Yeah. But like you really gotta like, I talked to this about other comedians. Like when you go on stage, you really got to be like, I'm gonna be the fucking best comedian right now. Like I gotta do. Like that's you have to have that mindset. Because if you're like, I ain't shit, and these other comics are better than me, then you're gonna go in there a little like So you gotta get some confidence.
It's a lot like sports in that way. Because because I'm Filipino, obviously I grew up playing basketball, right? Yeah.
So the PBL was
the PBA. But it's like it's the same thing, when you're playing competitive basketball, you gotta have that mindset that you're the baddest motherfucker on the court.
You gotta,
even though like realistically you're not. There's someone that's way better.
For sure. You gotta humble yourself.
Yeah, but even if that guy's better than me, I know I can fucking get him still. I've got this. I can fucking get this guy. I can get my points in on there too.
Hell yeah, man.
Where I can stop him. It's like, So it's the same thing with comedy.
Yeah,
realize.
For sure. And like I've never been like a competitive person, but like this, or when it comes to video games, I used to play a lot of video games.
What did you play? What were you really into?
I grew up off like Counter-Strike and like World of Warcraft, shooters, all that shit, Call of Duties and everything, man. And I was like really into that. But when it comes to comedy, it's like it's almost as a competition. Like a lot of us hate to do it, but whenever you do like a show or whenever someone does a show, you're like, okay, where was I at placed with the comics? Did I do second best, third best? Like, it's you gotta compete.
Well, that's how you're gonna get better then, though, right?
You have
if you're not assessing where you're at. Yeah. That's why I like doing competitions because I know everyone's gonna bring their A game.
Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna bring my A game, and then I can see, okay, where am I at? I know, like how much more do I have to go? Like, or what are they doing that's working to maybe I can incorporate. Not I mean like I love that joke. I'm gonna fucking take that, but more just so like the mindset and the approach, or like I said, when I saw you, like I saw what you did. he fucking made it more accessible. He's
Yeah.
still talking about like this because I was going off about small Asian dicks and
Oh, yeah,
everything.
yeah.
I was like, okay, because usually like what I found has helped me a lot is I always open up with riffing and audience work and crowd work,
Yeah.
just to get everyone loose and to get them on your
that's
side right
always-
away.
Yeah, it's talking
right?
about the obvious, something in the room.
exactly. Yeah, point out, call
yeah.
out something that everyone knows is
Yeah,
happening, but
yeah.
no one's saying it.
That's the shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when it goes well,
It goes well. It could also lose the room. Like
Yeah,
yesterday, I
yeah.
did a show, and luckily I was like talking shit about the Warriors. Like, I'm not like a basketball fan, but I was like, man, it was during the game, and I was like, nobody here likes the Warriors, and like I could have said that, and it would have been like, oh fuck this guy. If he doesn't
Yeah.
like the Warriors, we're not gonna laugh at his jokes. But thankfully, like they're like, yeah, no, fuck the like. We're all like, yeah, fuck the Warriors, and it was fun, but it's very dangerous because I've lost rooms trying to riff right away, and they'll be like, oh no way, don't talk about that, and they'll blow it.
So is it not consistent for you then? Do you sometimes you go right into material, sometimes
Like right away,
riff,
like Guatemo, he's like, he helps me out a lot
he's
too.
hilarious. I saw him for the first time
Yeah.
that day at Brick and Mortar.
At Brick and Mortar, yeah.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
always giving me good, like really good advice. And there's some rooms where he's like, hey man, don't fuck around. Like give them your best shit off the bat. Like, start to finish, give them your best stuff. Cause if not, you're going to fucking lose them. And that's what, you just gotta, a lot of it's just gauging how it is. And
Yeah, I guess the more experience you have.
yeah.
What would you say? Because you've been in it for 3 years now.
And that ain't
Like-
shit, man. I'm not.
I know.
but
yeah. So we're talking, this is like 10, 20, 30
Yeah.
year game, right?
Yeah.
3 years
Oh, yeah,
ain't
yeah.
nothing. Like you're a rookie still at
Oh,
3
yeah.
years. But what would you say has been your biggest growth between, now compared to, your first year?
Oh man, no more dick jokes. I used to do like a lot of my set was dick jokes when I first started, and like it's kind of like frowned upon some like with like producers like, oh, it's all dick, like you don't want to do too many dick jokes. So now I'm like trying to get way more like away from the sex stuff and just like more obvious stuff. That's changed, and yeah, I've always kind of been like just like I've like been in like films and stuff when I was in high school. So I was kind of like just natural, like good at like presenting and just natural. So when I first came into comedy, like I was just like very natural up there. And now I just had to figure out how to like write my stuff better.
I keep thinking, because I remember I was at Swinging Door one night and there was this comic that went up and Iman said, this guy's taking a break for like a while. And I remember thinking, oh, this guy was so fucking funny. I couldn't believe how funny this is. Was that you?
Might have been.
Yeah,
Did
you
he
took a
must say-
break.
Because I was going to school.
Yeah. How long? What break did you take?
Not that long. It was just grad school.
So like what, 2 years?
Yeah, like about a year.
Yeah,
But-
so it probably was you then.
Yeah. The thing, because like when I announced it, like because I was running a mic. And
Really?
yeah.
Where at?
At Malloy's in South San Francisco.
Okay.
I ran it like 4 times. Like that was it. But then I got into grad school and like I kind of made the announcement on Bacon, like, hey, like I got to stop my mic. I got into grad school. So everyone's like, oh shit, Sergio's like giving up comedy. But it wasn't like that. I just couldn't go to mics anymore, like that many mics anymore. And like I really had to pick what like I was like denying shows because I had homework and shit, which sucks ass. But
So you were like going up every now and then kind of thing?
yeah. So like now like I'm on summer break and now I'm like fucking right back into it, like trying to hit it
So
up
you're
every
still in
day.
grad school.
Still in grad
What are
school.
you studying?
Social work.
Okay.
Social work. Yeah.
So you really have a passion for that, I'm assuming then.
Yeah, I do.
'Cause I can't imagine someone going to grad school for social work
No,
unless
man,
they're
hell
really
no.
into it.
No way. Yeah, it's
It's
not. It's not for the money. That's for
yeah,
damn
that's
sure.
what I'm saying. Like you must really believe in it.
Oh yeah, I love it, man. I'm already I'm kind of in a similar field, so and I've always loved it. I've been in
Where
this
does that
field.
come from?
I don't know, man, because I've always wanted this since high school, like
Really?
working with youth, and that was it. Just like helping kids out and shit. Like
That's like a thankless, low
it is, man.
job,
It's hard.
It's like-
You know,
and for you to know that you wanted that like from high school on,
Yeah.
that's kind of rare,
Yeah.
isn't it?
yeah, and it's like because I also knew like I didn't want to be on a desk my whole life. Like like no disrespect to like anybody in tech, but I was like I respect it because you're making your money and you could provide for your family easily when you're working in tech. But for me, I was like I would never want to just be at a desk all day pushing numbers. Like I had to be out and about working with people. And
Oh, I thought because for me, I thought that's what social work was. Is you're just at the desk, but there's all these forms.
oh yeah,
for
a lot
programs
of it's
and
that, but a lot of it's like out in the field, going to families and interacting with them, and that's the good part. That's like, people always want to make change in the world, and like with social work, it's like at a very micro level. Like,
But I feel like that's where you can make the real change.
that
though.
exactly, man, and that's what like because people always like to talk about like protesting and stuff like that, and for me, I'm like, man, we can't change the world because of like politics and shit like that, right? But like, if I can make some change in someone's life, like individually, that's what I want to do
you
it
can
for.
make a huge difference there because
so
rallies and everything. You're trying to change a whole system that's already embedded, and
so that's that. But it's funny, man, because people don't know. Like a lot of comedians don't know that. Whenever they like, because with my jokes and like how I look, people think I like work at McDonald's and shit. Like I was like with Arjun the other day, and he was like telling me, he's like, Sergio, I thought you were a fucking douchebag, man. He's like, I didn't know you were like going to grad school, and I was like doing all this, and I was like, yeah, man.
Hey, there could be a lot of douchebags going to grad school.
Oh
too,
yeah, that too, man. There's people in there for the wrong reason. But
so you give off a vibe of a douchebag.
I do, yeah, and it's like,
is that so you've heard that more than once?
Oh yeah, and I think I do it on purpose. It's almost like not like to like for like like kind of when it's like that old thing where like, oh, blonde girls just act blonde, like acting blonde, like that dumb shit. And that's how I kind of did it. I was like, oh, I act dumb and I act like a douchebag, but like really I'm like a sweet guy. Like, I'm very like mindful that I know like people's like triggers and stuff like that. And so, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I never got that vibe from you.
Thank you, man. Yeah. Some people do, but
oh, who knows? Maybe like unconsciously you're putting it on stronger because you get a feeling because you can read people fairly quickly in terms of energy, right? So who knows? Maybe when you read that from someone, you're just like, oh, fuck this guy. I'm not even gonna. Yeah. No, but I never got that from you at all.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember I think the first time I actually truly met you was that competition. I don't remember
ever
I've
seen you a bunch of times before at swinging.
Yeah, I was going up all over the place. Like, but yeah, the first time I actually met you was that competition, and you were totally a nice dude.
Thanks, man.
And you didn't have to be because there's a lot of guys out there who are not.
You know what? That's why I think it's changing because like when I first started, like it was. The fucking scene was like very negative, and it's good. Like it builds you tough skin. But I'm noticing now with like newer comics coming in, like it's more about support and like we got to support each other because this shit's hard. Yeah, and we don't want to.
Plus, like the more friends we have, when we go up, you bring all your friends up with you. Like everyone wins, if you support everyone, right? And there's more people going out to comedy. It's a win for everyone.
100%, man.
And so like all this like bitter like competitiveness thing, like.
Oh, just not even like I think it's just a hate shit. Like it's not. Don't people just hate on people just to hate on people? But it's like I feel like if someone's bombing, we should tell each other we're bombing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I don't think we should lie to each other because that's hurting the comedian, and that shit gives me trust issues because I see it like on Instagram all the time, like people like hyping each other up, and I was like, fuck, I was there, dude. That shit like,
dude. That's funny you mentioned that. Yeah, that's that happened at Brick and Mortar, actually. I saw like a few Instagram posts the next day saying, oh, this person killed this. Like, they didn't.
It was a hard show, but it was like.
They didn't kill it. It wasn't even close.
Yeah.
And like, to me, like, that's of no value to a comic. Yeah. If you're telling people.
We can't do that, like, because you're only hurting the comedian. Because it's not, they're not going to improve. Like, that's why, like, I hang out with, like, we were talking about Connor Lonsdale and, like, Daniel Lewis. They're both very good friends of mine. Mm-hmm. And we fucking rip on each other. And I ripped on AJ the other day.
It's all in good fun.
Yeah, it's all good fun. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, just get used to it. Like, you're going to bomb. Like, so it's just part of the game. And you got to be. I mean,
if you can't talk shit with other comics, you're going to have a hard time being a comic.
Yeah,
man.
bro. If you can't be sensitive in this fucking, especially us, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why open mics are rough because, we get vulnerable and we say some shit, some really risky shit. And for a comedian to get offended, like, come on now. Like, this is part of the game and this is what we're doing. So.
Yeah, I know. It's interesting how like comics, especially at open mics, will get offended. I mean, I haven't run into it too much.
Yeah.
But Dorian was saying earlier he runs into it a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like, really? Do you really run into it that much?
Yeah. Whenever, like, if I tell a comedian, like, you got to watch that joke, it's like, I'm kind of looking at it like in the eyes of an audience, right? Like, hey, that's fine here, but you can't do that shit in the crowd. Like, and, I've made mistakes too saying shit.
That's different if you're putting it in that context. You're still trying
not like,
to help
hey, that
out,
offended
right?
me. What the fuck are you talking
that's
about?
A completely different.
Just be like, hey, someone might see that being offensive, so be careful with that.
Yeah, that's actually good advice, right?
Yeah.
That's like, when I'm doing mics or shows and the comic before me does bad,
and
then how you always cross paths with them. I always feel funny. Like, I can't give them a fist bump, dude. I feel like
I see it, but I appreciate that though because I don't like when people are like good set, and you know deep down inside,
know
you're
inside,
like,
yeah.
that shit suck.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't do that either, dude. Like I don't
So
ever
what
tell.
do you do instead?
I just keep
You
it
just-
awkward,
just
man.
keep
Fucking
walking
you bomb, bro.
past.
That was a. You got to eat that bomb, dude. Like I'm not gonna. I'll never tell somebody good shot like if they weren't good. Like and I would want the same for me too, because when I do see it happen, and I'm like that gives me trust issues, because now when someone says good set, I don't know if they're telling me the truth or not.
Yeah.
But
And I guess I'm just gonna have to live in that awkwardness then.
you got to do it, dude.
I mean, I don't do the fist bump. Like most of the time, I just find a way to avoid, eye contact with them, or pretend like I'm on my phone while they're walking off. So I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not obligated.
Or also just tell them like shit was rough. Like
Yeah.
the crowd was rough
I
crowd.
guess some people can't take that kind of just upfront
Yeah.
feedback, even though it was rough. It just fucking happened to
Yeah.
you.
What you been up to, man? Because dude, you were hitting shit hard, dude.
I
like,
was, man.
Before you went out to the Philippines, like you were
Yeah.
fucking going to everything,
Yeah.
dude. And,
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
You, not only do you have to put your time in, but you got to be seen, by different people.
Exactly,
You,
yeah.
you got to show your face around.
you got to
right?
show that you're committed and shit.
Yeah,
So,
well, that's what I was worried about since I was gone for so long. It's like,
Yeah.
people are gonna think that I quit already.
no.
It's like, no, but we were in the Philippines and we're building building 2 tiny homes to rent out on Airbnb over there.
Oh, nice,
And
dude.
try to get some passive income
Okay.
going. Really, I'm truly we're trying to escape the rat race, man.
Yeah.
And,
What parts of the Philippines?
so it's in a place called Tagaytay, which is kind of like a weekend retreat
Okay.
destination. Like people love
People like going out
getting
there.
away from the city. And it's higher up, a little bit more in the mountains, cooler weather, cleaner
cool, man.
air.
Yeah.
People just go there to relax. So yeah, we're building that right now. So that's why we were over there,
Yeah.
getting that started. And actually, my wife is still there right now,
Oh shit.
overseeing everything because it's not
Damn.
finished yet.
Yeah.
She had to make sure someone had to stay to make sure that it gets done right.
Yeah.
And it's like for me, it's like, man, I can only stay away from comedy,
Yeah,
so
here,
long.
yeah.
Like and it's not as if my career was booming and everything, but just losing the
Yeah. No,
momentum of
at least you
doing
did it
right?
like now, like versus doing it later in your career,
yeah,
or like
yeah.
you don't want to take a long ass break when you're like really like doing a lot of
It's like
shit.
when you're starting to build the momentum, and just figuring it out, right?
Yeah.
And figuring out like what works for you and everything.
Yeah.
And just showing your face and all that. So I had to come back and needed to make more money to put into those tiny homes.
Oh yeah,
'Cause,
man. I know. I saw that. I was like, man, Mike over here with the second family in the Philippines. What are you doing there? Yeah,
I got another wife over there.
yeah,
She
'cause that's
could
how
tell me.
fucking Mexicans do that shit.
Yeah,
dude. We
yeah.
build the houses and then it's like, oh, it's for their second family or something.
No,
and-
Filipinos do that too,
Yeah,
man. That's
yeah.
to say Filipinos and Mexicans should be best friends.
oh yeah, man. We
They're
got
so
a very
common.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it doesn't really work out that way in San Jose, man.
Oh, I
If
know.
anything, there's like animosity.
Oh, yeah,
always.
yeah, it's
And
different out there.
It trips me up,
Yeah, San Jose's a different. Like, it's only like 40 minutes from San Francisco, but that drive, it's like a crazy culture change. And it's
Yeah.
like, this is different from
It is, dude.
San Francisco and all that.
So that's where I grew up, man. So it's just-
Yeah.
there was actually a racial war during the early 90s.
Oh yeah, for
I
sure.
don't know if you heard about it. It was the Vietnamese and the Mexicans against the Filipinos and the blacks.
Oh shit.
So you could be walking down around the neighborhood and just
Oh,
because
yeah,
of the
no.
way you look, you would get. But
Yeah.
it just never made any sense to me why Mexicans and Filipinos didn't just team up because we got so much in common.
There's a
Like
lot, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, the cultures
Yeah.
are so
Yeah.
similar because we both got raped by the Spanish, right?
Oh
for
yeah,
hundreds of
exactly.
years,
Yeah.
right? So there's so many similarities in the culture,
Yeah.
but yet in some reason in San Jose, two can't
That's
stand
crazy,
each other.
man. Yeah, we see, all my friends are like in high school, they were all Filipino. So like I grew up in that.
Because you can fucking relate. Well,
They-
it is
bro,
South San
yeah.
Francisco too,
Yeah.
though, right? Yeah, there's a
I
lot
even
of
like,
Filipinos.
my friends would they always introduce like some of the words, a lot of the words are the same. And
Yeah.
like even like the meals are very similar.
yeah.
Like I already talked about like, Sinigang and shit. Like that's always remind me of like stuff that like soups that Mexicans eat too. Like,
Oh, they got that sour
goes
soup
at
kind of
S,
thing,
but it's
yeah.
not as like sour.
Yeah.
And there's certain stuff where it's like, damn, it should taste just like what my mom makes. Like my boy showed me like some caldereta the other day, and I was like, bro, this is just how. I gotta give you a week.
menudo, I'm sure.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's not a coincidence. My best friend in high school was Mexican.
Yeah.
My best friend now is Mexican. It's like,
Oh,
gee, I
bro,
wonder
you could
why.
pass as Mexican
Yeah.
too, man. You know what I'm saying, bro? You could be outside of a Home Depot, man. You'll be all right, bro.
Dude,
but-
you know what? And I'm just walking to my car.
Just
They try
walk
to
in your car,
hire
someone's
me.
gonna try to hire your ass, man.
Hey, I need one.
Yeah.
That's hilarious,
Yeah.
dude. But because I do Instacart, and every now and then, I do orders at Cardenas, right?
Uh-huh.
And I go up there, the employees start speaking to me in Spanish.
Oh,
It's like I have to like.
I believe, bro. You look,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
look like
I'm
you could pass as a paisa, dude, for real, dude. But yeah, carnas, that's hella big out there in San Jose too, because we don't have those up here up
San
north.
Francisco?
Yeah, no. And carnas, dude, the food there's so good, and
Yeah,
such a
that's
nice
the thing.
market.
Yeah, they've
Yeah,
got the
bro.
fresh
Yeah.
food that they're making right there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess South San Francisco's you got a lot of Filipinos out there,
A lot of
right?
Filipinos too.
Yeah,
so,
I mean it's basically Daly City.
yeah.
slash
We don't got
South San
carnas. We
Francisco.
got like the Pacific markets.
Yeah,
and shit,
Pacific
you know?
Island, all that.
those,
You guys got Chowking and Jollibee out there.
Yeah.
Oh wow, so you grew up with a lot of Filipinos.
Yeah,
around
man.
you
I
there.
heard that. I was like, you were talking to Jamar on the podcast, and I was like, man, he never had Dinaguan before. Like, that's, that's on my stuff.
You've had it.
I've had it all, man.
You
yeah.
like it?
Yeah.
Ah,
My
man.
girlfriend right now, she's Filipino. And
Okay.
she like, I was like, what the hell? Like, I even say like, got it. She's like, you even say it like, right. Like, and it's like one of my favorite dishes. And like, she's always surprised. Like, damn, you know all this shit? I was like, yeah, but, like, grew up with
that's
it.
I know that's like what tripped me out about Jamar when he's telling me the first time I met Jamar where he's talking about Longxilog. It's like,
Oh yeah.
oh shit, you know what
Yeah.
that is? Obviously, because you grew up with like a Filipino stepmom and he was living there for a while. I was like, oh, that's a trip. I wasn't expecting that out of you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
So,
but I don't know. Yeah, Mexicans and Filipinos. Yeah, we should all just get along. Dude. Well,
Yeah.
everyone
I mean,
should just get
everyone
along.
should get
Yeah,
along.
I'm not
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like limiting it. Yeah,
No.
everyone else can go fuck
yeah.
themselves.
But it fucking like San Jose, like it's still like very like a lot of like gang stuff going on out there, and I'm like, I wasn't used to that. Like working out there, like, and my coworkers are like, they'll tell me like, I wore like Cortezes because in San Francisco, it's like. In San Francisco, it's like, hipsters wear it. But like, no, you wear it out here.
No, oh my
Yeah.
God, man, yeah.
Yeah, one of my
People
clients.
are going to be making assumptions about you for sure.
Yeah, one of my
dude.
clients was like, yo, bro, he's like, you're lucky, like, I'm working with you, but he's like, you can't get away with that shit out here. And I was
Yeah.
like, my bad, bro. I was like, I didn't know I was, it's crazy out there.
Yeah, I mean, I moved. I haven't lived in San Jose for like 20 fucking years.
Are you guys out here now?
I'm in Hayward.
In Hayward,
but
okay.
I spent 7 years over there in the Philippines
Yeah.
during my 20s. So
Yeah.
yeah, I haven't been out in San Jose in a long ass. In terms like, I mean, we went there to review tacos, and every
Yeah.
now and then I'll kick it with my buddy. But
That's cool.
in terms of like getting a gauge of like what the like neighborhoods are like anymore, I
Oh,
don't
yeah,
know,
no.
right? But it's still a lot
It's
of
still
gang
pretty
stuff,
bad.
man.
There's some parts where I'm like,
Damn.
luckily it's the daytime because I'm like, it's
But
fine.
I mean, you are working in that circle too, though, right? Doing
Yeah, that's the
social
thing. Because
work.
like I didn't like go like when you go to a city and you don't know the bad neighborhoods, that's the worst. Because like you're just driving through shit and you're like, I don't know where I'm at. And then like my coworkers are like, oh, you're going there, like dude, be in and out. Like don't hang out around there. I was like, all right. So I just kind of like had to learn
So
like
they
that.
didn't like when you started that job, they didn't give you like some sort of like what do you call, like onboarding. Hey, like these
No,
neighborhoods,
dude.
you got.
No, that's like my coworkers. They know. So I'll kind of like, hey, how's this neighborhood? And they were like, hey, man, don't wear this color there, or make sure your badge is showing because you don't want people to to mess with you or anything. So it's just it's crazy.
When you go over to a person's house, like what kind of things are you doing as a social worker? Like what happens?
It's just, I'd rather not talk about it, but I'm like
okay,
working.
you don't have to talk about it if you
yeah.
don't want to. I'm
Um,
not gonna force anything on you, man.
For sure, yeah, because I hate talking about like my job, and it's just like a thing where I'm like, whenever I like talk about my job, it'll bring like the energy down of a room really
Ah.
quick. Like,
You don't talk about it in your stand-up at all.
oh, not at all. I don't talk
that's
about that at
interesting.
all.
Because usually that's we all just pull from our lives, right?
I know that's the thing that's hard too, because people like I tell people what I do sometimes, and they're like, you should talk about that, and I'm like, I can't talk about that just because like I don't want to like make fun of what's going on at what I do, and like
It's
I
a
could,
different
like,
energy once
and
you
I'm
start
like, I lose my job if I'll say something that's like
Yeah,
negative, but it holds me back.
Especially
Um,
these days, right? Someone
yeah.
like sees a clip of you talking about it.
So
and
whatever you do. So I'm like, every time I go up, I'm like super mindful of like what I say. Even like when I do like mics, like, or like podcasts, like it sucks because like in my head, I'm like, I gotta watch everything,
Don't talk about it.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not going to force you down
Yeah.
that road. I mean, it doesn't seem to be hurting you in terms of material wise, though. You're coming up with killer material,
Yeah,
dude.
thank you. But man, sometimes I do wish I was like, fuck, man, I wish I was a DoorDash driver or like in another field where I'm like, dude, I could just fucking talk about whatever the fuck I want to talk about and no repercussions. But like last night I was thinking about it. It kind of helps me out that I do what I do for work and comedy, because now I have to be very mindful of what I say because of my job. But also like we're dealing with audience now that's a lot different than like a 90s audience. Now we have to be very like, comedians have to be very PC and kind of like you know,
So it's basically guiding your material in the good direction.
Like I know what to not make fun of and what to make fun of, and like, you know, you don't want to trigger anybody, which, you know, it's like we can't. Sometimes a lot of comedians want to like, hey, I want to say the craziest shit possible, but in reality, we can't, because like we're seeing what's happening with like Dave Chappelle and like, you know,
there's probably a time and a place for it.
There's a time and
you got to be able to feel that out.
Like the venues too. You know, you're at a biker club. You can say whatever the hell you want to say at a biker club. That's what's going to work there. But if you're like, you know, in a show like in San Francisco, you kind of got to watch what we say. And that's why it's also good that we're doing comedy in San Francisco, because we're learning what we can't say when we can't say.
Ooh, yeah. You know what's funny is I've been told that about San Francisco. I mean, I'm not the dirtiest comic either, so I guess I'm not necessarily super clean, but I'm not this. I'm definitely, I wouldn't consider myself a dirty comic either. No. You know, but I mean, I'm not talking about like shit like small Asian dicks, you know, talking about like Asian racism out there, like at actual shows. And I've like, they fuck with it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I guess, but it all goes back to like to your point, right? Just get them on your side right away first, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that has a lot to do with it.
It's the room too. Like, you know, have you done like the Hella Asian shows yet? Have you ever?
No.
You'd probably kill in that show.
Probably.
But it's just like your material's so good too. But yeah, like shows like that. And like the other day I did a show in Santa Cruz and like Santa Rosa, and like just driving, like the audience was so good. Like they loved everything. And they're like, they're woke. It's like a woke crowd, but it's not as like bad as like SF, where it's like too like, I feel like sometimes it's pretentious. But like if you go to like Santa Cruz where they're more laid back, they laugh at all the shit we say, and it's a fucking great crowd. But
yeah, they've got a great open mic out there, the Blue Lagoon.
Yeah. The Blue Lagoon is one of my favorites.
Yeah, because they actually they make an effort of getting people in the room.
Shouts out to Jorge, man.
Yeah, he's doing a great job with that place.
That's one of my favorites. The drive is crazy.
It is.
I almost died one time because I was like,
it's fucking hella dangerous at night.
I was driving during it was like a storm, and I was like, I'm gonna die for this open mic. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
But it's such a great. There's more people in there than like shows, you know, than actual shows, and I'm like, it's great.
And you can easily get a good clip out of that for submitting. There's people there. I don't care if it's a mic or a show, as long as there's actual people there and you do well. Yeah, I'm gonna submit that thing.
Yeah.
No, but I was driving up there one night too, and it's at night. You're going through 17. There was no cars on the road, and they don't have any street lights on the goddamn thing.
Dangerous, man.
It was like. You know, and I opened with just talking about that drive. You know, I just riffed on it, and they just ate it up. You know, they know what it's like.
They love that. Yeah.
It's a great place. I haven't been out there in a while, just because that drive.
That drive is. It's fun, and then when you have to go home, you're like, "Fuck, I gotta drive like an hour and 30 minutes to get to my house."
Yeah,
but, you know,
like usually, like on my way back down, I'll try to stop by. What's that? Off the Hook in San Jose. The one where like Matthew McCary and Alex Torres and Melanie. Yeah, it's just because at least if I drive all this way, I'll hit up two spots, you know. So because it's hard. I mean, I'm not an established comic, you know. I'm gonna say it's hard to justify that long of a drive just to do 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, it is. It is even
even as an open micer, that's a rough drive, man. Like, that's money, especially with gas these days.
Oh yeah, the gas is killing everything right now.
I'm actually gonna be doing like hella less mics because of it, and just really just kind of limiting it to the East Bay, or I could just hit up multiple spots in one night just because this gas is just getting too crazy.
That's how I am with like mics, and like I'm like, I gotta make sure this shit's worth it before I go anywhere. Like I better have like new jokes that I'm gonna say. It's
otherwise,
hard.
What's the point? Right?
What's the point, man? And it's like, what, you know, you gotta calibrate what you're doing, and is it work now? It sucks because now the gas is so bad we can't.
Yeah,
I don't know how some comics do it. I'm like, shit, dude, you're everywhere.
Well, I think that there's some comics who are in tech or making good money.
Yeah. When you were doing the mics, were you coming from Hayward?
Yeah.
Fuck, man. See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like, you're fucking going everywhere, bro.
All over, dude.
Yeah.
I was going all over because, I mean, gas is still bad at $4, but ain't no fucking $6 like it is now. And I drive a Prius too.
Yeah.
So so that helps a lot.
Yeah.
But like even with a Prius at $6, like, and then with the tolls being $7 now too.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I gotta be realistic about it here. You know?
Oh yeah. If you buy a drink, it all adds up, bro.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? That's the one. I'm gonna burn a bridge here, but fuck it.
No, you don't have to.
But that's the thing about like the open mic at Alameda Comedy Club, right? It's like, I would love to do it all the time and and show my face and eventually get past there, but like. Even if you go, you gotta buy something, like because if if it's a bringer show.
Yeah.
If you don't have a bringer, only way you can possibly get on is
As if you're like, yeah,
if you're buying, but like it's not as if it's cheap.
no, it
buying
ain't.
food and
It's
drinks.
expensive, bro.
You
Yeah.
could easily spend 25, 30
Yeah.
bucks there, you know.
Yeah. No,
your night.
it's a
It's
great room, and then the drive to get there is
For you,
is-
yeah.
it's hard because it's like Alameda is so weird where it's like you got to drive into this little island.
Yeah.
It's a whole roundabout. But you know, I love doing spots in that.
Yeah,
that-
it's
I
a
love
great room.
that mic.
Yeah, it's a great room. He's got a great spot, but it's just I'm just in a position right now. Just the economics don't add up.
Yeah.
I just can't.
I
fuck with
think
it.
that's happening with a lot of people. You know, a lot of comics are like, we're not driving how we used to, like doing a bunch of shit. But yeah, so.
Dude, I see you sporting the Bass Pro shirt.
I know,
That's
man.
become really
It
hot over the
sucks,
past
man.
few
I know,
years,
dude. Because you know what I'm gonna say, man. All the fuck boys are wearing it. It's like a fuck boys like TikTok model thing. But dude, I've been wearing these like because I grew up fishing, and I would go to Bass Pro Shops, and I was like, oh shit, $5. Like I'll buy a shitload of these hats. And then now they're fucking blowing the fuck up. They sell them like as zoomies and shit, and I'm like, god damn it, dude. Like. See, now that's how I say it. I look like a douchebag.
Yeah.
I wear this shit. Yeah.
You know, I didn't get fishing until I watched that show River Monsters.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that really like made me respect fishing a lot.
Oh, yeah, man.
Because it's like, oh, there's strategy and like technique involved.
Yeah, bro. It's
You
different.
don't just put it out there and wait.
No, yeah. A lot of my friends go fishing with me, like, and it's always like the first time doing it. And they're like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, yeah, bro, it's different. Like, because my dad brought us all the time when we were young. And my dad was like a very like short-tempered person. And a lot of yelling at us and like learning how to be patient. And that's what, you know, we grew and we're used to that. And now when you bring somebody who's never fished before, they're like, what the fuck is this? I want more like, and it's like, nah, dude, you got to do something. No, it's not what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the first time I went fishing is my wife's cousin took us down in fucking some beach down in SoCal. We were there on the pier, and sun was going down. It's like, oh, this is what it's about.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, you'll do your best to catch something, but
Oh,
it's
yeah.
really just like a cool chill if you're good
Exactly,
with good
bro.
people. It's
Yeah,
like,
no.
oh, okay, I
yeah,
get
that's it. That's what it's
Yeah.
about. It's not about the fit. It's about just relaxing and a calm. Like you're very like in tune. Like
Yeah.
it's almost like meditation. Like
yeah.
nobody's talking. You're just there looking out. And then I get wasted every once in a while. You know,
Yeah.
fucking drinking a shitload of beers. That's the fun part too. But
No, that's great. It's great. I
Yeah.
didn't realize
it's
like,
about the hangout. It's not like even now. Like when me and my brother fish, like we don't even keep the fish. It's just we catch it, release.
Where do you go? Well, are you at a place where you can even keep it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got some. I mean, if you're in Hayward, there's like good reservoirs. That's all. This is where we always have to go. This area to
Oh,
fish.
really?
Yeah.
Because I see a lot of people fishing in Lake Chabot. I don't know if you remember.
Lake Chabot's good too,
They
so.
they definitely keep it over there because
Yeah.
they bring the coolers.
Yeah.
But what's interesting about that spot is like it's a man-made lake, right? And
Yeah.
all those fish are just
I know
introduced.
it's bullshit. I know, man.
Yeah,
That's how
it's
it is.
Okay, I was like, yeah, but it's kind of like cheating. Isn't
Yeah,
it, at that point.
exactly. That's how it is. The one I go to, it's man-made, and they dump fish in there.
Yeah.
It's still a huge lake, and it's still hard to catch fish. But it's funny because sometimes you'll see them dumping the fish. It's like thousands of fish are just throwing off into the water, and a bunch of like fucking fishermen run to that spot,
Oh, yeah,
and they're
yeah.
trying to catch them on the go. And I'm like, oh my god, dude, what are
Trying
you
to
doing?
catch them while they're still in the
Yeah,
air,
while
going
they're
into
in
the
fucking
water.
air, and I'm like, dude, like, you gotta just chill out. But
So you've got like a nice like fishing setup, like the
yeah,
rod
man,
and
it's the
everything.
biggest waste of money I've ever. I spent like fucking $500 on each rod, and
Because
like,
I know it can get serious.
yeah, it's
man.
serious. You don't have to fish like that. Some people, like, I mean, if you watch River Monsters, there's some people like in other countries catch with like a Coke can and some string.
yeah,
They'll
it's
catch some
crazy.
big ass fish. It's just all like a pissing contest.
You ever
at
try
the-
fly fishing?
No, I want to though. I have my old roommate used to do it all the time, and it was like different. where
Yeah,
it was
that
like
looks so majestic. It almost looks like you'll enjoy it even with, like without catching the
Without
fish.
you
Just
just
getting the
throwing
technique.
something, yeah.
It's almost like a performance art.
Yeah. It like kind of like for me with golf, like I'm starting to golf right now.
Ah,
And I don't even think it's about like making it in the hole. I just think guys just like hitting something with a stick and like that noise and just like whacking things. It could go, yeah, that. Like
Yeah.
we love that. And like
are you actually going to golf courses or are you doing the driving range?
the range. And
Yeah,
I
that's
suck-
what that's about for
yeah.
sure.
Oh yeah. I want to get into the course, but like I hit so wild right now. I'm like, I give up anybody props who does course because I'm like, I don't know how you guys do that. But,
Yeah, I mean, but the driving range is hella fun, isn't it?
oh, fuck yeah.
Just
dude.
whacking the shit out of those
Yeah,
balls.
dude,
You know,
you're a
not
little
even
drunk
aiming.
and shit, not even
Yeah,
aiming
yeah,
things,
just
just
whacking.
smacking shit. Yeah, no.
Yeah, there's something. Yeah, I have to say, you know, the first time I tried the driving range, it gave me a lot of respect for professional golfers at that point.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this shit's hella hard.
It's hella hard, and you're making this little ass ball, and it's
Yeah.
like you have control of this.
Yeah,
like that's
yeah. I couldn't believe how hard it was. It's like, oh, okay, they're. Well, I guess you know what, modern day golfers, they are athletes because a lot of them are like great shape these days. Right?
Yeah, my barber, he's like super into golf, and the other day he was like watching like the old like '90s like the old school golf tournaments, and it was like, bro, like the most out of shape people like with cigars and shit. It was
John
like
Daly, fucking
like a lot of
pounds.
like racist shit going on too. But it was hilarious because like nobody has like the same form. People swing crazy and they make good shots. And I'm like, okay, that kind of
Charles Barkley story, right?
Oh yeah.
That's so crazy.
The horrible stuff. Yeah.
Did you ever see that documentary on Tiger Woods on HBO? Oh, it's a crazy. Do you have HBO Max?
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Oh, you actually put that money.
It's not my account. You know, it's somebody else's account, bro.
I don't think I've ever owned an account of anything, dude.
Yeah, yeah, bro. Sometimes I forget. I'm like, who the hell? I know I own Netflix, my Hulu, but I'm like, I have someone's Netflix and shit's going around. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna just milk it.
No, but they did. There's a 2-part documentary about them from like childhood to adulthood. I highly recommend it. You know, for anyone. Well, because it's just really. They're really honest about how he grew up. He grew up as his dad was a womanizer.
Oh shit!
Basically, so it's like, it explains like all the cheating,
like father, like son.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What was interesting though is, but like the image his dad tried to create is like, you know, like there's this perfect family, and everything, and he tried to say he didn't pressure Tiger into it, but nah, he basically forced Tiger down this golf path from the very beginning. So it kind of like. Oh, no wonder Tiger's all fucked up then.
Oh yeah, man. It's part of you can't blame anybody, bro. It's how you're raised and shit. That's what it is.
There's no way he was gonna come out clean after all the shit that he went through.
I need to check that
with
out.
His dad. Yeah, it's very interesting. And then they even talk about how Tiger used to party with Michael Jordan and Barkley in Vegas.
Oh shit! Oh yeah, they got down.
Yeah, they got into that stuff. It's like, that's like Tiger Woods, you know, at first he started off as a shy guy. He's telling Michael Jordan, like, you know, what do I say to these girls? You know, I don't know how to talk to them. And Jordan just went, you go up to them and you say, I'm Tiger Woods.
That's hilarious, dude. Oh my God.
It's like, goddamn, Jordan and Barkley.
He couldn't figure it out. He's like, what do I need to do? Like, you're Tiger Woods, you idiot. Fucking tell people you're Tiger Woods.
I know, that's crazy that kind of like bashfulness towards girls is still there, even though you're this fucking big star, right?
Bro, they don't. I'm sure at that point you kind of lose yourself. You're not the person you are anymore. But HBO, man, they put out really good shit. Like that's what whenever somebody recommends something on HBO, I'm like, it's gonna be good. Like I don't think I've ever seen something on HBO and I'm like, that was bad.
Yeah, do you do much like television watching?
Dude, not really.
Work probably keeps you
I work
busy,
a lot
right?
and the comedy shit. With me, I don't watch new stuff. I watch old stuff that I've seen hundreds of times.
That you like, and
it's weird. Yeah, like I'm rewatching Breaking Bad, and I'm like, it's like my 4th time watching Breaking Bad. I'm like, there's so many other shows out there, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? But I watched that George Carlin documentary on HBO.
Oh, was there?
Oh yeah, you got to watch that one. That was like, I'm a fan of a lot of his like his specials, but like I never like really learned about him, and then I watched that special, bro, and it was like so like inspiring, and like they talk about stuff that we're going through, even like at the level we're at, and it's like so good, man. You gotta check it out.
Yeah, isn't that something that's like, it makes you feel good to know that even those super established guys struggle too.
Oh yeah. That's what he was saying. Is like one thing that really stuck with me. He was like, he talks about like bombing in a room for 25 minutes, and he's like, what keeps us doing this is like remembering the times you did do well. That's why we keep chasing what we're doing. Like these bombs don't really matter to us because we know that we did well in the past and we still have that.
Yeah, like you've already like kind of validated to yourself that okay, you are good. Like you bombed this time, but you've killed enough times at this point. Okay,
And comedy is all about fucking validate. It's disgusting because that's all it is validation, right? Like we just want to validate that we're funny. We need validation from the audience. We need validation from our peers. And it's not good for your self-esteem if that's what you're 100% focused on. But
the validation from the peers is a funny thing because I mean, obviously I've I'm just coming in on 1 year, but this is just like an observation I made. I think that's like a lucrative trap trying to make comics laugh.
Yeah.
Because you know,
Oh,
they're,
yeah.
you could just get stuck doing material that makes comics laugh. but
Exactly.
like a general audience, they
Yeah.
don't really fuck with that, you know?
100%. And like a lot of comedians, like they get stuck in their head when like it happens to me too when I go on stage, right? And I see like, oh, my comedian friends are here. I don't want to say the same jokes because they've heard my jokes 100 times. So I try to do new shit and it kind of backfires versus like I need to focus on this audience. Like just because my comedian friends have heard these jokes, we're here. We're really here for the audience. Like fuck my comedian friends. I'm here to make these people laugh. And like fuck it, I'm gonna do the same shit that I've been doing.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot easier to have that mindset when there's an audience, but when you're just doing mics and we've all
that's the
seen
worst
each
part,
other
bro.
like 25
that's why,
times, it's like, God damn, dude.
Dude, whenever I go to Swinging Door, dude, Xavier, he's just there like staring at me. He's like, I've heard this fucking joke. And I feel bad. Like it makes me feel like shit. And I'm like, you know what, dude, I'm not. So.
But like sometimes, like, what do you like? Especially if you're starting out, you got no other choice.
Yeah, no other choice.
The only
man.
way it's gonna get better, you got to keep doing it. You got to
do
figure it
You know
out.
what? And also, like when I first started doing comedy, I had a mindset where I was like, I need to do a new joke every time I'm at an open mic, new set every time. And I would always wonder, like, why are these other comedians doing the same shit over and over and over? But there's a purpose. It's that muscle memory, right? And like you do it so many times that when you're on at a real showcase,
you don't have to think about it.
You don't even have to think about it, dude.
Fuck around
you
a whole lot more.
It comes out so natural. It's because of you do it over and over at the open mics.
Yeah.
That's so like I do the same jokes over and over because you never want to like say if you do a joke and you don't do it again for like in 3 months, it's gonna be rusty as hell when you say it. It's gonna not sound as smooth.
Yeah, well, you're also like in a fortunate enough position. I'm not saying that you didn't work hard to get there, but you're doing more shows.
Yeah.
Obviously, you said you're reaching out more, and that makes a huge difference. It's like when you know that you're gonna be able to do actual shows in front of audiences, it's easier to go to the mics and keep telling the same thing because you know you have that other
exactly.
thing. But when you're doing nothing but mics, it's fucking it's brutal, dude. Yeah, it's like for those who out there, I don't know what like people assume about like what it's like to do stand-up comedy if like they're trying to get into it, but like realize you're gonna be doing a lot of open mics where same people are gonna be seeing your jokes again and again if they're even paying attention or if they're too busy working on their own shit or if they're too busy hanging out. It's like,
man.
It's
like I brought my brother to like an open mic for the first time because he went with me to the San Jose Improv and he was like, man, they should have named this the Player Haters Ball. Like what the fuck? He's like, there was so much hate within the comics. And it's like, I told him like, without me even talking about the community, he already sensed it.
Yeah, because there's only so many people who get to go up on that big stage.
So we're all pissed. We're like, fuck it.
Yeah,
he went up like
getting salty.
And then I took him to a mic afterwards, and he's like, dude, this is fucking dark. And like, and I told him like that's what we had to get used to. And like whenever like like I'll bring my girlfriend to like open a mic, like, hey, this is like the dirty part of comedy. Like it's not always the shows and shit. Like you got to go to this too.
But I guess in a way it's kind of good in that it weeds out those who really want it and those who
that's like a big thing.
Just kind of like a hobbyist, right? I know that's something people really like bookers, then just comics in general, the ones who stuck around, they really like when you see someone new and like you can kind of tell, okay, they're probably not really serious about it. They're not going to stick around. You kind of don't take the person seriously. It's like,
that's why like at a punchline like SF, like there's like a year, they want you to be doing this shit for a year before they put you up, just so they know like, okay, you're serious, you're taking it serious, like, so it's you got to have something on you, like you got to have some jokes if you've been doing it for this long. And
you know what Mean Dave told me about that one? He said that you should wait until you're at the point where if you're killing 80%, 90% of the time at your shows, that's a good time to start trying to go over there. I think you're definitely in that that range, man.
I've heard that too. Like I've heard Mean Dave, like I think Phil Woods, they didn't go up till like I think they were like 2 or 3 years in. And that's very like that's good advice, like 100%, because
everyone's in a rush to know. I don't need to get in.
No, and like I tell a lot of comedians, like a lot of people who are like starting too, I'm like, dude, like when you go on that stage, like you gotta be ready. Like this isn't like, and you gotta give them some good shit too, because this room's full of producers, and it's the punchline. If you fuck up, they're not gonna book you again for a whole.
That's your reputation right there.
So,
congratulations, you just got marked as a mediocre comic.
So I've heard Mean Dave about that with Mean Dave too, and I think a lot of like I went up kind of soon. I've been doing it for 3 years. That was my first time going up, but it was like you got to be ready when you do that shit.
You're
And
ready, man. You're definitely ready, dude.
I felt, yeah.
And it went well. And you went number one, right?
It went well. Yeah, it got me booked for shit. So I was like, fuck it, you know.
Did you do that whole thing though, where you basically had to hang out there for months because that's their process over there?
That was it, man.
That's a fucking killer, dude.
That's a killer too.
Because comics don't have money, man. We gotta be working and to be spending
man.
every Sunday just hanging out.
Yeah.
Hopefully that you'll get up eventually.
Yeah.
That's a tough
especially
ask,
like
man.
for out of town, like Hayward, or people come from Oakland. There's people who come from Santa Cruz. I'm like, that's a pain in the ass. And I think someone said in the comments one time, and they're like, you do it if you want. Like if it's not necessary, like it's not going to be like your life's not going to change after your Sunday set. But it's like if that's something that's important to you, then do it. And it was just like for me, I've always wanted to do it even before COVID. It was hard to get up there.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, and I have absolutely nothing to back up this theory. So I just feel like there's other roads to make your way.
There's definitely other roads. There's a lot of comedians who like I look up to, and like they never go. And you know they're doing their own thing, and they're getting booked like a motherfucker.
Yeah,
and they've never touched. You know, they've never been up there or hung out, and you know it's not necessary, but it's just. Yeah. All
right, cool. So we are gonna start wrapping up. We try to keep this at about an hour.
For sure. I didn't even know we started it earlier. We were like,
I just like to roll into it, man.
I
just like free flowing conversation. I don't like these formal interviews.
Yeah,
that's not what I'm about. So where can people find out about your upcoming stand-up comedy dates, Sergio?
Shit, man. I finally went public on my fucking Instagram. It's Sergio is Blanco. You know, follow me.
How do you spell that for people?
SergioIsBlanco. Sergio is Blanco.
There you go. You guys are gonna want to come out and see him. I mean, I'm not bullshitting when I say like, this guy's a funny motherfucker. Because like I said, if someone's not funny, I really don't tell them they're funny. I
appreciate that. Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not fist bumping anyone after they said if it's not good.
Yeah, thank you, man.
I'm not gonna be posting on Instagram saying someone killed when they did it. It's just.
That's what we got to do, man. We got to.
No, because it's just this. Honestly, like you said, it doesn't do anyone any good. Right?
Yeah.
Let's say even like people who see that Instagram post, like, holy shit, this guy killed. I'm gonna go see him. Well, great. Now they're gonna see that you're not actually that good.
Exactly, man.
And it's misleading. So I don't. So when I say this guy's funny, guys.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
It would have been nice if you said I'm funny too, but it's
you are, man. We love Mike, and one of the best podcasts out there, man. We want to see him back.
I'll just play. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Hey, guys. So thanks for tuning into the podcast, and a big thanks again to the fine folks at Sonity for letting us record the podcast here and for hooking us up with their delicious boba milk tea drinks. My wife, Chris, and I review boba milk tea spots all over the Bay Area. Believe me when I say that Sonity is definitely one of the best boba milk tea shops around. Make sure to follow them on Instagram at SAN as in Nancy, and as in Nancy again, A19, that's sana.na19 on Instagram. And if you're listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, make sure to hit that follow/subscribe button and make sure to give us a 5-star rating to give us some algorithm love. Okay? Thanks for listening.